Okay, good. We're going to continue our journey through Mishnas Sofrim. We're up to the letter final pay, the pay pshuta, the end of pay. And Mishram will do pay and Tzadi today, and then tomorrow Mishram will finish off kuf, reish, and tov, and then we're finished Mishnas Sofrim, and then the Mishram normal service is resumed. So final pay, the final pay. We haven't got it on this handout, but you've got the picture of what the final pay is, and we're going to say it's made up of two letters, two parts to it. So let's take a look at the Mishnah Berurah. Ois pay pshuta. The top right hand corner of the final pay has got to be square. Just like the regular pay is also square at the top, so too this one. In other words, this little bit at the top is not rounded, but is square. Okay. It should be long, which means this letter, Eli, I'm on page 310, pictures number 1 and 2. So it should be long enough that if you curve round the leg of the final fei, it could become a regular fei. That's how long it's got to be. Okay? If it's not that long, and all you've got is like a very short fei, for example like that, and you've got just a little yud over there at the bottom coming out, then b'di'eved dai bekach, that's enough. The Prima Godim says that. Kamola yud ma'ayerech v'kavona kasher kasavnu, and the kavona must be like we just explained, that a little yud is emerging from the leg of the fei. Otherwise it hasn't got a tzur of an ois at all. It's nothing. However, if you find a very short leg of the final fei, then you can fix it. You can fix it. There's no problem with shelo kasidron. Because even if you didn't fix it, the letter is kosher, and therefore a tikkun is okay. The nekuda of the fei, in other words, in the pay, we've discussed there that part, but the upside down yud, which comes out, and the little ukutz at the top of it, is exactly the same as the regular fei. You got to be careful that the little upside down yud should be facing the right way. It should be facing the inside of the fei and not outside, because if you've got this little upside down yud and it's facing the other way, then actually it looks like that, and then if you think about it, it looks like a tof. Right? So therefore you've got to make sure that it goes the right way. And if there's a gap between the yud which hangs down from the top of the fei, or it's too inward, either like this or like this. This is picture number 8, Eli. Either there's a gap between the yud hanging down, or it's too in, it's been pushed across too much. Then he says the same as what we said previously. Hakol dinner keniz kalei b'kfufa. Then it's the same halach as what we did yesterday. Okay, now let's move on to the tzadi. Tzuras ois tzadi kafufa. Now because again, the tzadi, you got a regular tzadi and you got a final tzadi. Now, if you think about it, a tzadi, we can go back to this one now. A tzadi over here is made up of two letters. Which letters? The letter nun, but just sort of bent over a bit, and the letter yud. So that's what we're going to be describing. Kfufa tmanosa k'moy nun kfufa v'yud al gabo. It's a nun with a yud on top of it. Hareish harishin shabiyamin shukein yud. The right hand side of the tzadi is like a little yud. Ye poneha noite k'tzas klape mala. So that part of the tzadi, the little yud at the top, should be facing a little bit upwards. V'yidabek regel hayud dibuk toiv b'tzavo hatzadi, and it should be connected properly to the main body of the tzadi. It's important that little yud should be halfway through the back of the nun, and not too low. Why? Because if it's too low, it's going to look like an ayin, as he'll say now. Shelo tidme la'ayin, right? V'roisha hasheni yekamin zayin. The other tzad of the nun, the top part should be like a zayin. noite lekan or lekan, where there's a little bit coming over on each side, i.e., on the tzadi, that part, the top left-hand part, the sort of the foot of it coming, the nun part of it, which goes underneath the top, should be in the middle of that top part. So there should be a little bit of that top bit on either side of it. So it's got to be in the middle. It should be a little bit thick. That's picture Eli. It should be picture 7 Eli. That should be a little bit thick. In other words, the nun, the back of the nun should be a little bit thick. So that you can put an ice on top of it. The base of it should be flat. Towards the left. In other words, the bottom of the tzadi should go out a little bit further than the bits above it. Right? Yeah, okay. And the bottom right hand side of the tzadi should be rounded off a little bit, like any other kfufas. And on the top of the tzadi, you've got 3 vertical lines going up. If we said the tzadi is made up with a yud and a nun, if they're not touching each other, and if the tops touch too much, which is picture number 13, Eli, where there's too much ink on the tzadi, which is this, basically, that picture over there, you've got too much over there, or like that, right? Then in that situation, nikab harosh el kav shove ein le'el b'soif eis alef. The 2 tops of the tzadi, i.e. the yud and the top of the nun, should not touch each other. But okay, let's just finish off with the tzuras eis tzadi pshuta, the final tzadi, the end of tzadi. So the top of the tzadi, the final tzadi, should be exactly the same as the regular tzadi. And it's a combination of the yud and the nun. Minun pshuta, but it's not a regular nun, it's the nun pshuta coming all the way down. Alkein gufa pashut k'mo eis nun pshuta, and therefore it's got a regular din of a nun pshuta. Yeah? Fine. Vashir orka, how long does it have to be? Shaterid lemata midibuk haroshim lechatchila b'chtei shiroi laso tzadi kfufa. So the tzadi coming down, again, it should be long enough that if you bend round the leg, you could make a regular tzadi. The same as we said previously. Ubediavad, pasuk haprima gadim. Says the Prima Godim, if you in your hoitzi mimakom dibuk hayud lenun, rak kamala yud is kosher. If it doesn't come down long enough, but only enough emerges, which is like a yud, but the ever that's kosher. But if the foot of the tzadi is so short that it's not even a mala yud, sorry chiyud. If the tops touch each other, or if there is a gap, then it's the same halachas as a regular tzadi, like we said before. So Mr. Hashem will finish off Kuf Reish Shin Tov on tomorrow, and then that's the end of Mishnas Sofrim.